The first round of the 2024 NFL Draft is in the books, and it's official yet again. The SEC is the king of the hill. The SEC just continues to dominate the NFL Draft year after year after year after year. What is this? 13 of the last 14 years now, the SEC has had the most number of first round draft picks. And, there's more picks than just the first round. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And that starts tonight, the second and third round. And then, I guess 4, 5, 6, 7 tomorrow. But did you know, the more you know, watching Uncle Lou will make you smarter. Did you know the SEC has had the most total draft picks for 18 years in a row? It's true. I guess that's that ESPN SEC bias that mouth breathers are always talking about. They've somehow managed to trick the NFL too. Unbelievable. So, when you look at the list of people who have been tricked by ESPN and the SEC, elite high school recruits. Because the SEC recruits better than any other conference. The College Football Playoff Committee has been tricked by the SEC, right? Because they keep putting the SEC into the playoffs and the SEC keeps winning it. Well, not last year. Shout out Michigan. But the SEC still has way more natties than anybody else the last 25 years. It's not even close. And now they continue to trick the NFL as well. Unbelievable. But yeah, let's go through it here. So the SEC had 11 players drafted overall in the first round last night. Alabama and LSU led the way with 3 each. Georgia with 2. Florida managed to sneak one in there. Of course, he was a throwaway from Arizona State, Ricky Pearsall. Missouri had 1, and South Carolina had 1. Where's Texas A&M? Not on that list, are they? Nope, don't see the barn. Don't see any Mississippi schools. Don't see Arkansas or Kentucky. What a shame. What a shame. I'm sure the Big Ten was second, though. They're always telling me the Big Ten's better than the SEC. I'm sure the Big Ten was, they must have been close to 11. Let's see. No, the Big 12. God dang. The Big 12? The Big 12 had 8 drafted. I'm sorry, the Pac-12, not the Big 12. The Big 12. The Pac-12 had 8 players drafted. They were the second best conference yesterday. Washington led the way with 3 players, and then a bunch of schools with 1 player. Southern Cal, Oregon, UCLA, Oregon State, and Arizona, 1 player each. So shout out Washington, 3 players drafted. I believe that's tied for the, is that tied for the most of any team? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Tied with Bama and LSU for the most players from any team. So shout out to Washington. Third place, there you are, Big Ten. Penn State led the way. Penn State? Wow, with 2. Michigan and Ohio State tied at 1 each. J.J. McCarthy drafted yesterday. Permanent bench rider. I don't think he'll be any good in the NFL. Doesn't matter. He was good in college. I've told y'all before, being good in college doesn't necessarily translate to being good in the NFL, particularly at the quarterback position. Depending on the team that you play for and the style and the system and the scheme that they run and things like that, you can be a really good quarterback in college and not have the skill set to succeed in the NFL. Just my opinion on J.J. McCarthy in the NFL. If I'm wrong, don't really care. Not really a fan of the NFL anyway. Don't have a favorite team, anything like that. Shout out to the Falcons, though. I'm not a Falcons fan. I don't have a favorite team. But holy shit, the Falcons are stupid. I think Michael Penix is a good quarterback. And I think he's a starter in the NFL probably somewhere. There's probably not 32 starters in the NFL better than Michael Penix. But the Falcons just continue to do dumb shit. Like, if you wanted to draft Michael Penix in the top 10, you don't sign Kirk Cousins. Like, they just gave Kirk Cousins $180 million. They just signed Kirk Cousins 4 years, $180 million. $100 million of it's guaranteed. So they're going to have to play Kirk. Well, they don't have to, but they're going to play Kirk Cousins for at least 2 years. And isn't Michael Penix already like 25 years old? I mean, by the time Michael Penix is starting for the Falcons, most quarterbacks are retiring. He's going to be like 28. It's just the Falcons continue. The Falcons are the new Cleveland Browns. That's all that is. But anyway, let's move on. The Big 12 had 3. Texas 2, Oklahoma 1. Wow. And they're both leaving the Big 12 next year. So had it not been for those two, the Big 12 wouldn't have had any players drafted at all. What am I missing? I must be missing something. Where's the ACC? I don't see the ACC on here anywhere. Where the hell's the ACC at? Don't tell me I missed the damn ACC. Did the ACC have anybody drafted at all? SEC 11, Pac-12 8, Big 10 4, Big 12 3. This list leaves the ACC off. Let me find another list. I know the ACC had players drafted because I know Florida State had one player drafted. I know Clemson had one player drafted. So I'm not trolling. That whatever website that I was on right there for some reason had the ACC left off. SEC 11, we've been over that. Pac-12 8, we've been over that. Big 10 4, we've been. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, you know what it was? That last site I was looking on must have been posted before the draft was over. Big 10 had 4. Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, and Penn State. So, yeah, Penn State 2, Michigan and Ohio State 1 each. Here's the ACC. 4 people. North Carolina 1, Clemson 1, Duke 1, and Florida State 1. And I just got word in here. So what is that? 4? Wow. So 11 for the SEC, 4 for the ACC. Unbelievable. Can't believe Florida State only had one player drafted off a team that got beat 63-3 in the Orange Bowl, the worst beating in the history of college football bowl. We've been playing bowl games 120 years. Nobody's ever got beat by 60 points except Florida State last year in the Orange Bowl. But still, they somehow managed to get one player drafted. So shout out to Florida State, Jared Verse, edge rusher number 19 overall. To the Rams. But right before I got ready to record this video, I got an alert on my phone. Y'all might have got this breaking news too, but after last night's first round of the NFL draft, where Clemson and Florida State only had one player each drafted, which is absolute poverty and a damn shame, really, it was announced today that both schools in a joint lawsuit will be suing both Mel Kiper and Todd McShay individually, as well as ESPN as an organization, for the clear bias and rigging of the NFL draft. So that's right. Florida State and Clemson accusing Mel Kiper and Todd McShay, along with ESPN, of rigging the NFL draft against them. So they'll be suing them. So you could be on the lookout for that. But anyway, does that pretty much wrap it up for the draft? Big 12, okay. Byron Murphy out of Texas. Xavier Worthy out of Texas. Tyler Guyton, big offensive lineman out of Oklahoma. Notre Dame, one player drafted. Joe Alt went really high. I think he was the first offensive lineman taken. He's really good. Notre Dame, a history of good offensive linemen, though. No trash talk there. There you go. The SEC is the king of the mountain again. Most first-round draft picks, 13 out of the last 14 years, including this year. They've had the most players drafted in the draft for 18 years straight. Anybody think that's going to change this year? Doubt it. Have a good morning.